Right, today I come to Marlborough in Wiltshire to see Severn-ack Forest, which is home to Britain's longest tree-lined avenue, at 3.9 miles. Severn-ack Forest has been in private ownership since the Norman Conquest, making it Britain's longest owned private forest. The forest was first mentioned in the Anglo-Saxon period during the reign of King Ethelstan, but it was given royal forest status by William I and then granted to one of his followers, Richard Estamy. The forest then passed down through an unprecedented line of private succession, father to son, and on 4 occasions, father to daughter, daughter to son. It is still in private ownership today, although has a 999-year lease by the Forestry Commission, the government agency for the management of England's forests. And so this great big beastie is the Cathedral Oak, and it is absolutely monumental. I think it's as wide as my car is long. I have quite a small car. It is absolutely huge. Oh, look at that crevice. One interesting period of note about the forest was that it was at one point owned by the father of Jane Seymour, the wife of Henry VIII. And it is likely that the match between Jane Seymour and Henry VIII was created while Henry was visiting these hunting grounds. As we all know, Henry VIII was a massive fan of hunting. Over the centuries, the forest slowly dwindled in size as parcels of land were sold off for agriculture. The forest today is roughly 1/10 of the size it was in even just King George IV's day about 200 years ago. One of the greatest pressures on all of the forests was, of course, World War II, with so much land not being farmed for agriculture at a time when Britain was under siege and every acre counted for the national food supply. To maintain its nominal private ownership, the forest closes 1 day a year, and that's it. Otherwise, it is free for the public to use as a nature area for dog walking, hiking, and just enjoying the natural environment. So this is the start of the Grand Avenue, which goes on for 3.9 miles. It was laid out by Capability Brown and is the longest in Britain according to the Guinness Book of World Records. And while I'm not going to show all of it, I am going to go down here to a tree called the King of Limbs, and so I might as well record a time lapse of that. So here we go. One of the remarkable things about this forest is even the unnamed trees are staggeringly beautiful. This oak is just wonderful. Just absolutely wonderful. And it's just a normal tree in this forest. It's a wonderful place to come for a walk, and on a day like this with perfectly clear skies and 25-degree weather, it is extremely pleasant to come under the shade of these trees, let me tell you. This forest is managed for more than just timber, but it is nonetheless a working forest, and you can see the timber that has been harvested from the woods nearby. In medieval and early modern forestry, unusually shaped trees like this one were not only acceptable, they would even be necessary, as the twisted and unusually shaped limbs that nowadays would be a sign that the tree wasn't useful were instead very useful, as the designs at the time for furniture and mechanisms needed those twists and turns to be part of the design to give it extra strength and durability. You get wonderful downed trees in an old forest like this. And over here this wonderful half-fallen, twisted, dead tree. Look at this great old man of the forest. Wonderful stuff. Here we see one of the very few conifers in this forest. Compared to most forests in Britain, this one had only very light post-World War II conifer planting. and as they get harvested when they mature, they don't tend to get replaced by other conifers, they get replaced by other native trees. So not too many of them here, but they make a nice change, aesthetically speaking. Here's a little stand of conifers watched over by this beautiful old oak. So this is the Crockmere oak. Wonderful shape and colour. Right, and this marvellous old man of a tree is called the King of Limbs. And you can see he just sprawls out all the way across this clearing. He is absolutely massive. This is an oak tree, and good grief, you could live in this. This is massive. I wonder how long ago that came down. He is absolutely monumental. Largest oak I've ever seen in person. It seems an interesting irony that this fabulously old oak tree is next to one of the stands of recent conifers. That just amuses me. I don't know how well the scale is coming across on the camera, but these limbs are almost as thick as I am tall. I mean, yeah, this bit here goes above my head. That's how big these are. Magnificent. I don't know how well this is going to come across because it's intrinsically ephemeral, but the sound of wind in the beaches is to me one of the most English sounds in the world.